I'm Danny Nightmare.
I'm Gory B Movie.
Welcome, boys and ghouls.
It's Horror Addicts Live, and we're going to be talking about the movies we watched in March. We're going to give you guys some brief reviews, but first, check out our lovely graveyard. This is where we'll be having our Horror Addicts live streams now. There are a few bats, but they don't bite. I don't think any of them have rabies, so we're not going to have a Cujo situation up in here. So, make yourselves at home.
They're in my hair. They're in my hair.
We have a theater, too. There's a projector out here. We watched a movie with our Patreons out here in the graveyard.
Yes, speaking of movies we watched in March, just less than an hour ago, we watched Leprechaun.
We did. And you know what? It still holds up, guys. Still holds up.
I think the last time I watched it was about a year ago,
Yeah.
probably in March, but
I think I watch it like once a year. I don't know what that says about me as a person.
it's corny, but still always enjoyable.
And please let us know, because I just set up everything. I just moved over to OBS. That's why we have a new background and everything. Let me know how everything sounds. I adjusted the audio settings today because they weren't so great during Girls Night Out. But I think they're good now. So hopefully they're good for your ear holes. Also, I got a new shirt today. You guys want to see? Look. Oh, it's got a unicorn on it.
Go to hell. I'm wearing a Beetlejuice shirt.
Speaking of Beetlejuice, I just did a Beetle dong on Instagram.
That's why I'm
Gory
wearing
draws
this.
dongs.
Trying to promote your dong, that's why I'm wearing this shirt.
Oh, you're the sweetest. I love you.
Life's leading bioexorcist.
So hopefully you guys enjoy the new graveyard. And, oh, Dino says it looks good. Well, there we go. I got Dino's stamp of approval. Hopefully it sounds good too. I did test it earlier, but it's always hard to say until you actually listen to the stream.
The only thing that looks better than shirts on you or off you.
Later, okay, I gotta get to the stream. It's Monday. Yeah,
Monday.
you know what that means.
Garfield's upset.
Yeah, time to go to Bone Town. I think that's when the kids do it, right?
No, they
Oh
probably
no,
do
they
it
do it on Friday.
Friday.
I'm so out of touch.
Thank
It's kinda
God it's
getting
Friday
old.
for boning. Look at that.
Really? I
Yeah.
don't even think they should be boning. But that's a whole other basket of worms.
Why do you think Urkel was always like, did I do that?
Ah! And Dino says it sounds great, so I think we got a good setup going.
Good.
So, do we really want to talk about the movies we watched in March?
Yeah, most
we-
of
are
them
we
are
ready for
very
this?
corny. Very corny.
We also, we had a bit of a problem. I swear we have hiccup after hiccup, but our computer broke and our car broke down, so we had a little delay in videos, but we are still planning on putting up our best of 2017 up.
Yeah, you got the computer fixed yesterday, and I got the car fixed today.
For our most anticipated, we were going to do a video, but maybe we'll just do a stream. What do you guys think? Do you guys want a stream or a video? Let us know. And who do we got in the chat today? I see Daryl Hammond, Joseph Hall,
Drake's Warzone.
yeah, our buddy Drake, somebody I haven't met before, Graveyard, Chop Blocks here, Matt Rays, Jeff Lloyd, Zachary Haith, of course Dino from the Late Late Horror Show, fantastic show by the way, guys, you need to check that out, and Cole is gay.
Alright.
And you know what? That's okay. That's okay. You do
happy.
you, man. You do you. Love is love.
Love and happy is happy.
Why are you all up in my biz, man? Why are you
So
scoot over?
I can be in the frame.
But, like, here. Is that better? Here, come over here. Oh, wait. I guess that's what I mean. I need you to be more in my biz.
Exactly.
Get up in my biz, baby.
Get up in that biz snatch.
Holy crap. This chat is smoking.
So I thought that was your vaporizer when we were doing the Leprechaun movie. I was like,
Nah,
what?
it's the fancy new frame. It
Yeah.
smokes. All right. So, all right. So we'll just talk about the horror movies. In fact, I'm going to adjust.
For the most part.
I'm looking at my settings here on Letterboxd. I'm just going to change.
Good place to start, anyways.
They don't want to hear us talk about non-horror stuff.
Watched Daddy's Home 2 recently. Not bad.
They don't want to hear about that.
Christmas movie.
We're
though.
not Daddy's Home addicts. Though I am kind of a John Cena actor addict.
And he's got a big part at the end of that.
You are not forgettable, but, you know, now I definitely won't forget you. Talk to you. Graveyard, a go-go. Oh, I like that, a go-go.
A go-go.
So, do we want to talk about President's Day?
Oh, yeah, well, that was our last thing.
I don't know if I have much to say about that.
No.
We did watch a little indie movie called President's Day with our patrons last month. It was really hard to find. I wanted a President's Day movie, so I tracked it down, and it should have stayed buried wherever it was. Because it was bad.
Lightly covered under the cat litter and not have been dug.
Yeah, it was like cat litter mixed with cat turds. Just, if you hear about President's Day, if someone's like, holy crap, I found this thing under a rock called President's Day, you just say, you know what, you put that rock back where you fucking found it.
It's not as old as I expected.
It really isn't. It's just really shitty. But yeah, we got a screener. We watched it. It was bad. So, we did that trouble for you guys.
Skip.
Now let's talk about Living Among Us.
Okay.
We're just scooting right along.
That's the vampire one.
Yes. So Living Among Us, I was initially kind of excited about this because anybody who is familiar with the show knows one of my favorite films is Fright Night. I'm pointing at it. Yeah, I'm pointing at it. I love Fright Night. And this movie is set in a world kind of like True Blood, where vampires have come out of the coffin.
Recently.
Yeah, and they want to be accepted by regular people. They want to have the same rights and everything as everyone else. And in order for that to happen, people need to know that they're not dangerous. But a lot of people are very skeptical and think that the vampires are dangerous. And so they've decided on this news network, I believe, to send a couple of their reporters out to go to this very affluent family's home.
For a week.
And record them for a week. Just, you know, so this family can show them that, hey, we're just like you. We're just a normal family.
Bring women off the streets and sacrifice them, but, you know, in a humane way. They're drug addicts anyways.
You're jumping ahead there, kiddo. You're jumping ahead. Anyway, ignore that. Yeah. So, backing up a bit, let's talk about who was cast in this movie.
Had a pretty good cast.
It had,
the dad from Home Alone.
Yeah, the dad from Home Alone. Rest in peace.
Can't remember.
And, yeah, I can't either. I feel like there's somebody else noteworthy, but the one that comes to mind is Thomas Ian Nicholas. Haven't seen that guy since American Pie. He was also in Rookie of the Year.
He's Rookie of the Year.
Guy's not aging well. Oh, it also has the guy from 10 Things I Hate About You, Andrew Keegan. He still looks good.
He didn't look much different.
He actually was a really convincing vampire because he's still kind of hot, guys. Like, serious. Like, he looks good.
It has a good cast who normally I would say acts well. I mean, I don't know about Rookie. Never been anything serious.
No.
So I can't really say if his acting has gotten better or worse. It's about the same.
Though that is his second horror movie of this year. And this is a 2018 movie you're talking about. He's also in a movie called The Lost Tree that I haven't tracked down yet.
Yeah. But despite who's good in it, like acting-wise, like the dad from Home Alone, I can't remember his name right now, but he's not a bad actor. The movie, though, has really bad writing and dialogue.
And it was honestly, I think the thing that put me off the most was the editing. So, to bring you back to the plot a little bit here, Thomas Ian Nicholas is a reporter. He and a girl he works with that he's dated previously, and a guy who's kind of just been bumped up to reporter, though I think typically he just does filming. They're sent to this house, and this is a found footage movie, and that's where a lot of it falls apart.
Found footage. Everything is written directly to that camera very conveniently, where it's like don't even have a chance to act because everything is like they're just keeping their beat and they have to deliver it to that camera. Like it's very monotone set like that where, oh, it's my turn to talk to the camera because that's what the plot says.
What upset me was like every 5 seconds they do this like kind of staticky thing on the camera, which if you film with digital video, if the digital video gets destroyed, you just don't have video. You don't have analog tracking or static and stuff. That doesn't happen. That's what happens when you have like a tape. They don't have tapes. So it was really annoying. And even if that was the case, even if they were trying to show a damaged video, the fact that it's done almost as a transition between scenes is just really irritating.
And there's even parts where they're like, oh, the camera's on? Why? Because like there's a part where the woman is sleeping and someone sneaks in on her. It's like, did she have the camera there on all night? And how come we didn't see 4 hours of footage of her sleeping before someone snuck in? Who like edited that for what reason?
It has all of the found footage flaws that you guys hate. You know, why are they filming? Shaky cam, really bad camera angles, and of course, like I mentioned, the crappy cuts.
Found footage, it's hard to do it. Like if you do it right, it can be good. But there's so many bad found. It's almost like zombie movies where there are really good ones, but there's so many bad ones. And this one, falls into the bad category, I would have to say.
A couple more friends joined the chat. Hey to Jack Payne, our buddy Stephen G. Atkins, who I've got to tell you guys, he does the best freaking Arnold Schwarzenegger voice. I swear to God. He also does the movie trailer voice.
It's Arnold.
Arnold. Yes.
It's not a tumor.
So, yeah, Living Among Us, it was a kind of a cool premise. It could have been cool. It could have been kind of Fright Nighty. It could have been a little True Blood-like, but it's not. It's a steaming pile of garbage. The only thing I will say positive about it is Andrew Keegan does a great job. He plays this younger, kind of cocky vampire, and he did a fantastic job. I would love to see him in more horror movies and more villain roles.
He kind of took a page out of What We Do in the Shadows, and that's why it kind of worked with his character, because he's like, hey, come see what us vampires really do, and that part was actually not bad.
What I liked about him is he has this like real mean streak, but he's also really playful about it. He did a fantastic job.
He's also pretty stupid though, because they're like, "Oh, we're gonna like show this to everyone." He's like, "Oh, you are? Oh well."
There are some definite flaws in the plot because they want these reporters to come there so that they can prove to them that they're safe, and yet the plan all along is to kill them. And even initially, when they're still going under the guise of that they're safe, as Danny mentioned, they have a girl there, and they're like, "Oh, this is just a ritual sacrifice. She's just a drug addict." That's still murder. Even drug addicts have the right to live.
She'd be dead within a year on the street anyways. It's
yeah, any reporter would be like, "Okay, well, we've seen that you're actually murderers. We're gonna leave now," but they still stay, and it just doesn't make any damn sense.
The ending is the best part, but it's still not great. It's just kind of like a point of view of a walkthrough through a haunted house as they go through the basement of their house. That's very like, oh, here's a jump scare. Like, oh, here's this. It's
terrible.
It's like being in a haunted house, like a walkthrough, but you know, you're through the camera lens. It's the best part, but even that's not good.
So, Living Among Us.
Yep.
Skip it. It's bad, guys. It's bad movie. It's bad movie.
Found footage.
Movie, you do that outside. You're a bad movie. Bad.
You unfind that footage right now.
I see that Dino finally watched What We Do in the Shadows. If you guys have not seen What We Do in the Shadows, that is a modern movie out of New Zealand. It's hilarious, and it's probably in my top 10 vampire films of all time.
Oh, yeah.
It's that good.
That movie's... Check that out.
And Ben, we were talking about Living Among Us. It came out on VOD in January of this year, I think. It's bad. Don't watch it. Gosh, I feel like we're going to be talking about a lot of bad movies this month. We didn't watch a lot of great movies
Speaking of bad, let's talk about bad apples.
Well, you skipped one.
Well, get back to that. That's a good transition.
All right, fine. Transition.
So, if you like The Strangers, this is kind of a horrible knockoff of that, but it's not very good. Pretty bad.
Well, let's tell them about the plot first. It does star Brea Grant. Brea Grant was in Smothered. She was the villain in that. She was in Real Housewives of Horror. I really like Brea Grant.
Yeah.
She does a lot of indie horror, but I'm a big fan. So when I see that she's in a movie, I'm usually excited to check it out.
Mm-hmm.
And what this one's about is it opens with a couple that's clearly having problems. The guy comes in, the woman's pregnant, and he stabs her. And then it does the whole cutting to so and so many years later, like 15 years later. And then you see these twin girls, and they always wear masks all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And they just enjoy murdering people for the sake of murdering people. A lot like Danny said, like The Strangers.
They show up at... This takes place in mostly a kind of a trailer home. It's not an abandoned one like in the new Strangers movie. It came out before that, but... Yeah, they show up at trailers, and they just kill people that are living in them. Other houses, well. Not a whole lot to say. The ending's pretty lackluster. There is one cool scene where there's a human jack-o'-lantern being carved into someone's stomach.
You just cut right to the end in the spoilers, man. Just cut right in.
I'm not saying who and what. I'm saying that happens.
You skipped over stuff, dude. You
what
skipped
stuff
over.
was worth talking about?
You're like jumping the gun. You're going too fast. You gotta slow it down. Think about your mom or something.
Figure there wasn't much else. Go ahead.
It also has the guy who started Brea Grant in Beyond the Gates.
He was better in Beyond the Gates.
He was really obnoxious in this movie.
I don't know if it's just the way it was written. I'm not saying, because I liked him in Beyond the Gates. So maybe he's just written poorly in this, but I don't know.
I think the character, because he plays Bria Grant, who's the protagonist. He plays her boyfriend, and I think the character is just written horribly.
Does not be likable. Whatever.
And the party just started because dice rolled in.
Yeah.
What?
Try and catch her rolling. And dice. Probably thought.
Unless she likes dad jokes. So yeah, but like Danny said, there was some good gore in this. I saw a person turn into a human jack-o'-lantern, and so for that alone, I'd say it's
Barely
not
see it.
it's
Barely.
not a bad movie. It had some decent stuff in it. The ending is freaking terrible, and there's going to be a lot of, like The Strangers, a lot of why don't they fight back? What are they doing? You know, why did the person take that knife and defend themselves? That kind of thing.
Yeah. Throw away it perfectly. Whatever. It's not a great movie. It's not a horrible movie. It's just
The Roman Reigns movies.
Nah, it's better than Roman Reigns. Like, barely.
It wasn't terrible, guys. It wasn't terrible. If it sounds like your cup of tea, check it out, because it's not terrible, and you might enjoy it more than we did. I had issues with the characters, though Bria Grant was fantastic, and I had an issue with the ending, which is really lackluster and kind of
Yeah, it was
very low budget too, which doesn't deter me from enjoying a movie, but it didn't help this movie that it also had a low budget.
Yeah. That's not one of the, I wouldn't say the weak point of it, but like you said, it's so much other stuff going for it. So, I don't know, it's borderline see it, skip it. Like, you can't really go, you won't miss out if you skip it, but you won't hurt yourself.
Yeah, you're not missing anything. You can go either way. If you are really big into home invasion, you're really big into, you know, like the movies like The Strangers,
things like that, then check it out.
then it might be worth you checking out. But otherwise, particularly if you don't like The Strangers, then you're gonna hate this movie.
It won't hurt you to see it, but it won't hurt you. That's all I'm saying.
I think that's pretty fair.
Alright, let's go back to where else we were at.
Oh hell. Oh. Gotta go back to Sharknado 5, Global Swarming!
I liked it. It wasn't the best Sharknado movie, but I don't know. I just like the Sharknado movies.
My buddy Steve McGinnis is in the chat. He's my artist buddy.
He's been helping Tori with her dongs, like
yeah, he's been helping
advice-wise.
with my dongs a lot.
Been giving her
He's like my Yoda, my dong Yoda.
Padawan. So
And our little buddy Ken is here from Monster Cinema Productions.
Sup, Ken? How you doing, buddy?
It looks like Daniel came back, so good to see you guys.
Ew.
So, Sharknado, at this point, I mean...
They've already jumped the shark, rode the shark into space around the moon.
Initially started off like it was trying to kind of be a movie. Like,
First one wasn't the best.
It's pretty
It
slow.
was okay.
But
it had a great ending, though.
It tries to be a movie.
Yeah.
And then it got messed up towards the end. Sharknado 2 was like, you know what, fuck it.
We'll just start the end from the beginning.
And let's just go full crazy.
Yeah.
Sharknado 3 went even crazier. Sharknado 4 went to space and had Hasselhoff.
Yeah. But I think that was 3.
That's 4.
No, 3 had that, 4 had Andre the Black Nerd. It was like when they had tornadoes of cows and stuff.
4 they went to space. It was the
3
Star
was
Wars one.
space.
3's all hell no, the White House one.
Starts off in the White House, it goes to space in the end.
4's the Star Wars one.
4 is the one where they have tornadoes of other things. It has Andre the Black Nerd on it. He's a choo-choo driver.
I know, dude, but it's also when then we go to space at the end.
No, because they almost killed Tara Reid off the end of 3. Big thing fell on her. And then
Alright.
she's a cyborg in 4. Remember, Gary Busey is her dad. But she already died because of the space thing in 3. Why, like, we weren't
How
sure.
did 4 end?
4 ended pretty pleasantly. But now we have, remember they took the baby out of like 5 different sharks. The baby cut them out, remember?
Oh, yeah, Gil.
That's how 4 ended. There's like 5 sharks and one
and
shark
then
ate a
3
bigger shark.
ended where it was like, will April die or will she?
It fell right on her. So that was in space.
Then why was that with the Star Wars one? Because that was the one with the Star Wars poster.
Maybe. Why did this one say making America bait again? It had nothing to do with the White House.
Yeah, I don't know. Okay, they're very confusing, but Danny's probably right because he knows his Sharknado better than I do. So let's just go with Danny in this one because I think he actually is right now that I think about it.
But yeah, it wasn't like 5 wasn't better than the ones we just mentioned, but it wasn't worse. I think it's better than the first one.
So Sharknado 5, we've got Tara Reid's character April, who's
gets dressed up like a weird, like she looks like she's from Gem and the Holograms.
Yeah, she's like full on for arguing over Sharknado. Married people problems.
Married people problems who like Sharknado movies.
We need more beer. You.
As we just mentioned, we watched Leprechaun less than an hour ago, so we've already had a few.
So, yeah, she's a full, like, cyborg, but she wants to be a prettier cyborg.
Yeah.
And then we see Nova, she's back. And then you find out there's this whole, like, James Bond network of women who fight Sharknadoes. Something like that.
Yeah, there's that.
I don't want to spoil this one for them, so I don't want to tell them the ending. But I will say this one gets dark, guys. It gets way dark.
The ending is quite tragic. It sets up for a 6th movie.
It's setting up for, I will tell you that the ending has a Back to the Future moment, so it looks like they're going to be going back in time. Yeah,
This one had, like, teleportation in it. That was the main thing. How you said 3 had space. And
yeah.
The other one had other tornadoes. This one has, like, teleporting where they teleport all over the world. Now it looks like 6 might have time travel.
Yeah, they went to Australia, they went to England, they were in America initially. They go everywhere in this movie.
In England, I don't think they went everywhere but the White House. That's why it was weird that it said "Make America Big Again."
At any rate,
But,
I ain't gonna argue Sharknado with you, okay? We already had our Sharknado.
We are limited. No sense.
Okay, the marriage counselor said only argue about Sharknado once a month. You heard her, Dan. You heard her. You signed the paper.
And then a shark ate her. It was a hammerhead, I believe.
You know what? Fine.
It did have Corky Romano in it.
Haven't even paid the bill this month. Sweep it under
no one has to pay the bill now.
She's
dead.
It under the rug.
Hello, people.
Yeah, you know, the Patreon watch was Leprechaun, which I sent you the link because you supported date night. So you can check that out later if you want.
Had a March Madness.
March Madness!
Anybody who's a patron can go watch it. It's not live anymore.
No, it's not. But they
can all still see it, right?
Yeah, they can still watch it.
Cool.
Anyway, so I will tell you that there's also a Dolph Lundgren cameo, which I said Don't Kill It last year, which was a really hilarious, messed up demon movie. Dolph Lundgren needs to be in all of my indie horror movies.
Dolph Lundgren, he's fighting crime and then back to banging as Sonny Dolph.
Hey everybody, my little brother Zigma51's in the chat, so be nice to him.
Sup? Meow. Right, meow.
He's here, right, meow.
Right, meow.
He's right here, right, meow. Right
More
here,
beer.
right, meow.
Need beer, right, meow.
Hey, do you want to do it Irish because it was March?
My beer is Irish. I put a little whiskey.
That makes it more Irish?
I don't know.
Huh.
Yes.
So, end thoughts on Sharknado 5.
Like I said, not the best in the series, but not bad.
I have to say, when it comes to the Sharknado movies, Part 2 is by far my favorite.
I'd say it's probably my favorite, too.
I enjoyed Part 4 a lot. Whichever one had Hasselhoff in it, since I apparently have my Sharknado. Okay.
Gary Busey's in 4. Dolph Lundgren's in 5.
Oh, yeah, that's right, because we had the David Hasselhoff bobblehead. Okay, you're right. Okay, I like, and then 3. 4 is okay, and 5's okay. 5 took an interesting turn, though, like I said, at the end.
Like the end.
So I'm curious to see what happens next. But some of you might call it a cop-out, based on, you know, anything that involves time travel at the end of the film. You know where that's going. Not all of you are going to like it, but at this point, I feel like if you've seen the Sharknado films, you know what you're getting into. So if you enjoy the other ones, you're going to enjoy this one. So it's a pretty easy recommendation.
As Jeff Floyd points out, yes, a lot of horror movies would be like starring George Clooney, who just makes a small cameo in it or something. Nope, Jennifer Aniston is in most of the Leprechaun movies. She is the final girl.
She really is, yeah.
Other than Warwick Davis, I'd say she is the main character, so...
Yeah, which is funny because she doesn't like to acknowledge that movie, but it's not like she had a tiny bit part like Holly Hunter in The Burning. No, you're the main character. It's like another one was a Naomi Watts in Children of the Corn 4. It's like, that's a really big part.
Yes, thank you, Steve. Did get our computer working.
Yeah.
And Zigma helped
out. Zigma, the LAN adapter is working great, so I'm up and running, as you can tell, so we can get caught up on some videos. We have a lot of videos planned for you guys, because, yeah, we had a bit of a delay.
Alright, moving away from the Sharknado. Where else would the wind blow?
I feel like we watched nothing but shit this month.
Oh yeah, it's Inside then.
I guess so.
We watched the American
I
remake.
feel so,
of
we
Inside.
actually do like movies, guys, and we like horror movies. Just we watched some bad movies this month.
Tornado wasn't like unenjoyably bad.
I
It's
have
a bad movie,
one
but it's a
movie
fun
on our
bad
list that I really super enjoyed, but
We'll have a
you know what?
It's gonna get
We'll
better.
worry about that.
when we get to it.
That's future streaming Gory and Danny's problems.
Alrighty.
So let's talk about Inside. Oh, Canadian Jason's in the chat.
Sup?
ZBird85.
What's up, Zach Bird? We need to film next week. Friday the 13th is coming up.
Oh yeah, the continuing adventures of Canadian Jason. So if you are familiar with the French film Inside, it's considered to be a French extreme horror film. The nutshell of it is you have a car crash in the beginning. The woman who was in the car crash was pregnant and her husband has died. She's about ready to pop, and she's home alone when a woman comes to her house and she wants her baby.
Sporting a big old pair of scissors.
She wants to get that woman's baby. She wants to cut it out herself and steal it. It's a really great movie. It's really gory. It's action-packed. The acting in it is intense, and it goes into some very unexpected dark places. Then there's the American one.
Which is the same thing, but watered down.
So essentially, like, okay, so you know when you go skiing, right? And then there's like the big kids hill, and there's the bunny hill. The big kids hill has got thrills and slopes and up and down turns, and you know you could get into some serious trouble, but that's part of the thrill.
Way to,
and then there's the bunny hill.
For skiing terms, the original is the Black Diamond, the red or the Green Circle is the remake.
The remake's the bunny hill, guys.
Yeah, the circle.
Everything that made the original film intense and dark and made people like shit their pants watching it has been neutered out of the remake. I will say the lead actress, I mean, none of the acting is bad in it. There are some cheesy fucking lines in here. The writing didn't improve with the remake.
Not to backtrack too much, but Ben Grimm points out Jennifer Aniston did have her original nose in Leprechaun. And yes, OCD Horror, as mentioned, we did mention that quite a bit as we watched
Yeah,
it.
seriously, Ben, where were you, man?
Okay. But yeah, so it's just watch the original Inside is all I would have to say. It's kind of a waste of time if you've already seen that one.
I feel about it the same way I feel about the Martyrs remake, which was another French extreme cinema movie that was remade. There's just really no reason to see it unless you just don't think you can handle the original one. I guess maybe then.
The only thing I can say is like when Let the Right One In got remade to Let Me In, it wasn't much of a reason to watch them both, but at least it was on par with like quality and violence.
But see, that's also a Swedish film, and I
Yeah.
feel like the problem we're running into is with French remakes.
Exactly, like because
they're called French extreme cinema for a reason. You don't do a watered down American PG-13 remake.
exactly they're not even on par with the French remakes or originals. They're just watered down with no real reason to watch
I
them.
mean, at this point, I just want them to leave the French extreme films alone. Like, you need to just not touch any, high tension, all of them. Just leave them alone.
Pretty 13 Zametti was French film too, and when they just made it 13, don't touch those. Leave the French alone.
Yeah, leave the French alone.
Thankfully, we didn't get a. All right.
And Danny, why don't you take this next one? You did a review of it, so we can just cover the basics.
Yeah. It is a Full Moon Spanish film, Wax, that got produced by Full Moon here in America. And it's about a man who assignment. He recently lost his family, but he's going to be
Were they under the couch cushions?
Huh?
Were they under the couch cushions?
The couch cushion.
His family, were they under the couch
Oh
cushions?
no, they passed away. They were apparently violently murdered, but he wasn't quite sure to how they were. They just disappeared. There was actually no trace of them. He's not 100% sure, but anyway, he's in a deep mourning, which he should be. His producer wants to get him kind of back inspired on stories again. So she's gonna have a special assignment where he stays in the Wax Museum and he'll just cover all the spooky things that have been reported to happen there. he finds tapes of a doctor who killed and tortured people with wax. It's about the only thing that has really to do with wax, though. It's not like as much as a wax movie you'd think. He finds a videotape of this elusive doctor who has been arrested, but apparently they didn't know who all he killed. He killed apparently his family, and there's video proof of that on this. And they knew that this happened, threw it in there on purpose, because they did give copies of the footage to the police, but they kept it, and I wanted to do some sick experiment onto their employee, apparently. Pretty fucked up. But, I don't know, I liked it. It was good. It wasn't amazing. It had a few little editing flaws I'd find in it, but overall it was very Edgar Allan Poe. I enjoyed it.
It had some good moments in it. I watched it too and I enjoyed it. To Ben Grimm, he asked what happened to Alexander Aja, who did High Tension and Hills Have Eyes. High Tension was a French film. I think if anyone were to remake it, he should be the one, because his remake of Hills Have Eyes, I actually enjoy better than the original.
I at least enjoy it the same. It was one of the better remakes that I had a good time going to the theater. Saw it in the theater and lots of people walked out. And that's the type of movie usually I really enjoy, when highly offends others.
Oh yeah, I forgot to mention Stephen G. Atkins for the upcoming Friday the 13th. He said he would do a voiceover if you want to have a previously. Interesting.
We will probably be doing that this summer. There's going to be another Friday the 13th. Probably need that.
We're going to need a recap, because at this point we're getting pretty dense into the Canadian Jason storyline.
Next month, though, we're doing Never Hike Alone.
How many movies has he done now? There's Friday the 13th A, the Christmas special, Friday the 13th. Or he's not in the Friday the 13th. He's in Friday the 13th Part 2. And Canada the Sundown. So he's done 4 episodes.
Well, he also did Part 3.
Oh yeah, Part 3. So 5 episodes. Yeah. So at this point, I feel like you do kind of need to have a previously.
We will
on Horror Addicts
this summer. We're gonna do Part 4.
What's the next one?
I'll Never Hike Alone.
Is that the one we're doing this next month?
Yeah, and then we're doing Part 4 this summer.
Sweet. So
we'll need it.
We'll have to get in touch with him.
It's either June or July. I can't remember.
He's good, dude. He's really good.
We have Friday the 13th.
Yeah, Ben, he did do Mirrors, and I actually thought Mirrors was pretty good. It's a little underrated horror movie with Kiefer Sutherland in it. Pretty good.
Yes, walkouts are entertaining. When I saw the remake of a Texas Chainsaw Massacre, this girl I went to high school with, she was like a cheerleader, short little blonde girl, and she just came out just sobbing snot on her boyfriend's jacket as she pulled her head away, and I can't believe that really happened. It's like, oh. It didn't really happen like that, but okay. I didn't want to tell her otherwise, because I like seeing that face on people.
And just moving down the crap mudslide that was our march.
This movie's so shit.
Oh my fucking god.
Wolves.
Wolves.
This movie needs to be thrown to the wolves.
I actually had this recommended to me by my friend Zach from Cavern of Terror. The movie is called Wolves. It came out in 2014. It's not that old, but it is so bad. It's got the guy who played Hannah Montana's little brother in it. He's the main character. And the beginning of it is almost like a music video. It's cut so quickly and stuff that you're just left there kind of bewildered, wondering what the fuck is happening. And then all of a sudden, Jason Momoa's in.
The first half is... Yeah, like you said, it's a jumbled mess of just this happens, oh, but now this happens, oh, now this happens, and like all these time periods keep jumping forward, and very little is given to you, but at the same time, so much has apparently happened. The second half is almost like Twilight. Say it, you're a werewolf, oh, they run and romp into the woods together. It's got Aquaman, though.
It's Twilight with Aquaman, if she had picked Jacob.
It's like that Rob Zombie new Aquaman from Justice League.
It's the gritty Aquaman in the gritty Twilight if Bella ended up with Jacob.
It's hilarious because when he turns into a werewolf, he looks like Beast from X-Men. Like, not the new X-Men, but the old ones. Like the old X-Men movies.
Or Kelsey Grammer?
Yeah, Kelsey Grammer Beast. He looks like him. The main character from the Disney Channel, as you say, when he turns into a werewolf, he kind of looks like that werewolf cat thing that Michael Jackson turns into in the beginning of Thriller.
Or that Dee Wallace turns into at the end of Howling.
Yeah, that kind of thing.
Little kitten face.
Where it's like it's almost a kitty.
Like they're trying to make him sympathetic and like not scary, but they went a little too far with it. He looks like one of those purries.
It's like a couple moments in this movie where they acknowledge kind of how cheesy they are, and those are like pretty good. It's like, okay, you're making a silly movie. But then there's some, like most of the movie, they think in the most of this movie that they're making this epic movie, like this is gonna be a huge hit, and like they're very serious about all this, and you're just sitting there laughing, going, "The fuck!" But
if you want to watch a movie just because you want to see a train wreck,
this movie's great.
This is a train wreck. We laughed our asses off the whole way through, but the movie was not intended to be funny. So I mean, we enjoyed it for all the wrong reasons.
There's all these dramatic twists in it, like, oh, the main character, he killed his parents at the beginning and almost ate his prom date.
Oh, you forgot where he almost killed someone playing football.
Yeah, well, he does kill somebody, I think, playing football. I think he legitimately kills this kid playing football. Like, there's this big football scene.
Because he's a werekin. He's a mean werekin.
They're playing football, and, like, the opening credits, and he, like, hits somebody so hard it breaks their helmet and kills them, and then he, like, takes his date after the big game, and, like, he rapes and scratches the shit out of her in the car.
But he's the hero, guys.
And then, like, he wakes up, and his parents are dead because he ate them. Oh, he's got to go start his life again. He finds, like, this old guy who's like, I'm a werewolf too, kid. We'll play some darts. And they have a dramatic dart-throwing scene. And then later on, the old guy...
Yeah, I think they have, like, a near-dark vibe in there, too.
Yeah, they have all, like, these twists, like, oh, your dad, he's an evil person, and then he runs this town. He's like, well, I'll stand up to my dad. He doesn't even know I was born, apparently. And just so bad.
So bad. And I won't say it's so bad it's good, because it's not.
I will. It's so bad that I love watching it.
It was really funny.
It is like, you know, like when
I don't ever want to see it again.
You know, like when animals have really long fur and they shit in their fur and it gets all matted in their fur and they like have these dingleberries hanging off their little furry dog butt.
It's an animal butt dingleberry.
It's an animal wolf dingleberry.
Wow. So then do we want to tell them what we did next? We watched every Children of the Corn movie.
Yeah, we did a whole marathon. We're not going to put them in order right now because we have a video about that coming.
So we're doing a ranking soon. We're also going to do that thing where you put corn on the cob on a drill and try to eat it while we do our ranking, because that just sounds like fun.
We'll start off with the original Children of the Corn.
We should keep it pretty short because we do have some videos coming up.
Kind of just give these...
We actually didn't watch the original Children of the Corn, though. We watched it with our Patreons like 2 months ago.
Oh, that's true. But I like that one. Thumbs up. Then part 2. Okay, this is actually one of the worst for me in the series. It's a big thumbs fucking down. I hate part 2.
Okay, I'm gonna give you a preface here. I have never, until this last month, I'd never seen any of the Children of the Corn sequels. I grew up on the original. I liked the original, and it wasn't like I had a reason not to. I just hadn't gotten around to it, and that's why I had this marathon. I was like, hey, I'm a horror addict. I need to watch these.
At the old VHS days, I went to go rent some of these sequels, a couple of the 90s ones anyways. I rented the second one. It was Jack and shit on corn. Jimmy Crap corn, and this movie came out. And I didn't bother to really watch all the other ones. I saw a couple of their sequels throughout my life, just like here and there, like out of order, and I didn't care for much of them either. I was always not a big fan of their sequels.
Shucks, Dan.
But it's mostly because the second one was so fucking bad.
Was it amazingly bad?
It was rows of corny shit that I do not wish to stalk through ever again.
Oh boy. Yeah, the part 2, I know a lot of people love that one, and the only thing I can think of is because a lot of people may have seen it, but I was really disappointed by it. It's just bad. The only part I enjoyed is there's a scene where a guy is playing bingo. That scene's gold, if you know what I'm talking about.
Lady goes through the window and she's all dead, and like everybody's like freaks out except for the guy who's like, well, I had bingo. I won, right?
Yeah, it's really cheesy, though. A little bit of trivia. The love interest in this is the little sister of Jesse from A Nightmare on Elm Street Part 2.
And can't think of who he is right now, but they have Mordecai in this one, and I thought Mordecai was so amazing. Malachi, yes, sorry. Malachi in the original movie is awesome. We got your woman, Outlander. He's just this creepy ginger kid. He's so cool. But in the movie, they didn't kill him off like they do in the book, I guess. That's spoilery. But so they brought him back for the second movie, but he's a completely different actor. And I don't even hate that actor. He's also in something else that I actually like him in later as an adult. But he's such a throwaway shit character in this movie that it really broke my heart that they took like the best character from the first movie and made him so forgettable in the second one. That's one of the main reasons why I hate this movie.
It's just a bad movie. That's really all I can say. It has this whole Native American subplot. I thought that part was kind of funny, especially, the guy who's going to protect the town hereafter. Yeah.
It's like they
and
saw
then there's a
Poltergeist
conspiracy theory, too, with the corn that's gone bad that they're going to sell.
Yeah. I don't
There's
know.
some weird shit going on in part 2.
But then we have part 3, Urban Harvest.
Which I guess means that it wasn't the final sacrifice.
Oh, yeah. 2 said it was the final sacrifice. Oh, it's like final chapter part 4.
My fucking God, though. Moving on to Urban Harvest. Seriously, I'm kind of upset with you guys. How come nobody told me about fucking Urban Harvest before? Because it may be my new fucking favorite movie ever.
It's the Troll 2 of the Corn series. Almost all of them are bad. But this one is so fun bad. Like
it is so much fun. Okay, let's talk cameos. You got Nicholas Brendan in like 2 scenes.
He's playing basketball.
Charlize Theron is in it in like 2 scenes. But this is what makes it gold. All right, so you have these little Amish-looking kids from Gatlin.
Yeah.
They're sent to the big city. They're sent to Chicago.
Got one little fight. My mom got scared.
So you're moving with the
There's a lot of basketball in this movie.
And yeah, it's just exactly like the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. So they go to Chicago and they go to live with this couple because at the beginning of the film, the youngest kid who you find out is adopted killed their dad. So they're sent to Chicago, the big city. And what are they gonna do there? There's no cornfields, right? Wrong!
Plant some in the alleyway outside of my house.
There's one of those like little rooftop areas, and the kid in a week grows a whole field of corn.
Yeah,
and he didn't even have like seeds or anything. He had just
kernels of a corn.
He had just corn on the cob.
Yeah, he just.
So with corn on the cob, that explodes into little baby seed things.
Agriculture, people.
Don't show this movie to your FFA class. Let's just put it that way.
It ain't gonna work. But they kill it.
Hold on, I'm gonna tell Ben something. Ben, there are 10 altogether.
Oh, yep. There's parts where they stole from Evil Dead where the corn is raping people, like the trees do in Evil Dead. There's a giant demon at the end that eats people that are little Barbie dolls.
Yeah, no, we're not even kidding you. He picks up people with his tentacles, and then when they show them in the next shot, they are actual dolls.
Like action figure Barbie dolls that he shoves down his mouth.
There's an amazing kill where a guy gets his like head pulled out of his body, and there's like a giraffe.
You having a giraffe, mate?
So, you know giraffes are from Africa, right?
It's a thing from what culture?
Oh.
Jules says it on he's British. He goes, "You having a
I was like, hold the phone. Wait, what?
No, it's just you having a giraffe, mate. Doing something stupid.
Oh.
Anyways.
So, I don't watch what culture.
Anyways, that was actually pretty cool. That was a very there is some bad CGI where the kid's got the little scythe and he's shooting fireballs like in Street Fighter at his adopted brother, and his adopted brother gets hit point blank with a fireball, but there's no smoke or steam. He just gets back up like it just lowered his life bar is all it did.
There's
basically.
like a 90s epic inner city basketball game.
Yeah, with
where the kid gets un-Amished.
Yep, and we mentioned Brindle.
It's like the most amazing shitstorm you've ever seen.
So, yeah, it's almost the Troll 2 of those movies.
It is, yeah, I like it better than Troll 2. It's fucking amazing.
It's on the same level as Troll 2 for me. I don't know if I like... Because you can't piss on hospitality, Haley. But
the whole movie, I was just like, where has this movie been all my life? This is hilarious.
I'm surprised. I never saw this one, because I gave up on 2, and then I saw a couple other ones later, because, like I said, there's 10 of them.
So, yeah. Children of the Corn Part 3 gets my guilty pleasure ranking. It's a lot of fun.
Bad, but good bad.
So bad, it's good.
Then we have 4, which, not a bad movie, but pretty forgettable. It's only like crime as it has against it.
Here's what I have to say about Children of the Corn. One, you got Naomi Watts in it. You got Karen Black in it. It has a solid story. I like that it doesn't try to do what part 1 and 2 did. It goes for something completely different where the children from Gatlin originally are possessing the children in this town. Mm-hmm. Naomi Watts is in most of the movie. There are a couple cool deaths in there, like with the doctor.
Yeah.
I think the acting's good, and it's the first movie of the franchise up to this point that didn't have bad CGI.
Yeah, they don't even bother with that, which is good. Because the other ones, there's not a whole lot of CGI in the first three, but there's enough to where anytime they use it, it's really bad.
You know what's weird though, guys? Okay, so at the end, there's a scene where Naomi Watts, who was in the ring, is holding a little girl that she pulled out of a well, and like almost the lines and everything are exactly like The Ring. And this movie came out before The Ring, but I was like,
The Ring.
That's weird. It's really weird.
The only thing is, like, when I watched this, I had deja vu, so I think I saw this one a long time ago. And then after...
there's a glitch in the Matrix.
Maybe, and then after we watched it for this, I had to go back, though, and watch the last 20 minutes again, because I was like, oh, that wasn't bad last night. Wait, how did it even end? So I had to go back and watch 20 minutes of the ending just to, like, oh, so that's my only real problem with it is it's not the most memorable movie.
Memorable?
Yeah, I think I made that up.
Memorable?
Most memorable movie. I couldn't remember it. That's my only problem, really.
I enjoyed it. I thought it was a pretty solid film. I think it's one of the better ones in the franchise if you're looking for a quality movie, not a so bad it's good movie.
But that, to be fair, I followed it up after 3, which was very memorable for some of the wrong reasons.
You're not going to forget that. Whether you like it or not, it will be permanently etched in your brain.
So, I mean, it's not a bad movie by any means, but it's a little dull compared to 3. Like...
Let's move on to Children of the Corn Part 5, which by far has the most cameos and stars that you would recognize in it. It's got
Kane Hodder,
Greg, the next door neighbor from Charmed. It's got Kane Hodder. It's got what's his butt?
Kung Fu and Kill Bill.
Yeah, what's his name?
David Carradine.
It's got Eva Longoria from Desperate Housewives. It's got Alexis Arquette.
Yeah. Who's playing
like a bro dude.
Very bro.
It's weird. Like, this is around the time he did, like, The Wedding Singer and stuff, and Bride of Chucky, so it's kind of an odd role for him.
And I can't remember the actor's name, but he's in this movie with that Arquette, and then he's also in Ready to Rumble with David Arquette, so he's in... I can't remember.
And then it's got the little kid from Picket Fences.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, and it's got Fred Williamson in it.
Oh, yeah, Fred Williams.
Black Cobra. And Dust Till Dawn.
Yep.
So you got a lot of cool cameos. So for that alone, it is worth checking out just because it's kind of like a, oh, hey, there's like that guy. But
one of the problems is it's a very stereotypical 90s like type horror slasher where teenagers on a road trip and then shit goes wrong, which we've seen that a million times. However, despite that you've seen that in other horror franchises over, I'd say this is probably the most unique for Children of the Corn because that's way different than the other Children of the Corn plots.
They're all fairly different. I don't know. I thought it was pretty shit, to be honest.
I like the cameos.
This group of kids is going out of town. Their friends end up going missing, and you find out they're dead. And you find out that one of the girls in this group of friends had a brother who essentially is now part of the Children of the Corn cult, and he's about ready to turn 18, which is when they have to sacrifice themselves. And they get kind of wrapped up into that. About the only thing I really enjoyed in this movie, because overall I thought the plot was pretty weak, the acting's pretty weak, and the little kid who like leads them.
I think David Carradine did it.
Of course, like he did all right. Kane Hodder did all right, but that little kid annoyed the crap out of me.
He was pretty annoying.
He was really annoying. But yeah, what I did like is occasionally, like, when people get possessed, their eyes, like, glow with this weird green fire. And then there's this permanent green fire burning in the silo where the kids sacrifice themselves. And then at the end, there's a baby with eyes of green fire.
Yeah, it's funny because you watched this right before me, and then I saw that ending first, the baby's eyes. And then I watched it, too. And then Lals came in at the end of my watching of it, and I'm like, oh, check out these eyes. So that's all he saw. And we both just sat there giggling. Like, that is so bad.
It's pretty crap.
There's some bad CGI in that as well. There's not a whole lot, but the fire in the eyes is where they put it.
I feel like we're turning into the critic. Like, that stinks.
It stinks like burnt corn. Like, have you ever been to a place where they burn the popcorn? These movies stink. Alright, now we got part 6, 666, Isaac's Return.
Isaac should have just stayed away.
He probably should have. I don't really like this one. I do remember watching this one when it first came out when I was younger and renting it. It does have the main character, or the actor who played Isaac in the first movie. So it has that going for it. That's about all it really has got going for it.
It's nice to see him again. You got like your... it's very a late 90s horror movie.
I don't want to,
and not a good one.
I don't want to spoil too much about the original if you haven't seen it, but Isaac shouldn't be alive, or at least looking the way he looks in this movie, though.
Ben Grimm, actually, Ghoulies Go to College was Matthew Lillard from Scream's very first movie.
Yeah, and I like Ghoulies Go to College. It's a lot better. Actually,
I think Ghoulies should get educated.
Ghoulies 2 is my favorite, but I do actually prefer even 3 to the first one. I didn't feel like the first one was... Sequels were better. That's one of the few times where I actually think the sequels are better than the Ghoulies. But, yeah, so we have Isaac from the original, and he does okay, even though it doesn't really make sense of how he's back and why he's back.
And don't forget the woman who was the partner in RoboCop, Nancy something other.
What's her name? RoboCop trilogy.
The plot of this one is you have a gal who goes to Gatlin, and she's trying to find her mother. She's adopted, and she thinks that this is where her mom is. Her mother is there. There's only a handful of people in town. They're part of the Children of the Corn cult, and she finds out she's part of some great big prophecy that results in her, like, having one of these cult babies and, like, leading them into a new era. And it's really long, and it's really slow, and it's really boring, and there's only, like, one decent kill in it.
And it's a funny, like, you almost applaud, like, in The Room where he commits suicide, where you're like, just do it! That's kind of what happens in this at the end.
A guy literally falls on his scythe.
He puts a scythe. I don't know how it's pointing up without falling over, but he does. And then he just kills himself by leaning down onto the scythe. It's hilarious. In slow motion, just like I said, it's just like watching The Room, where you're just like, do it, kill yourself.
So, after that, we watched...
Which one was
the remake.
Oh, yeah, the remake.
The TV remake of the original film.
I did see this when it first came out, and I hated it so much when it first came out. As we marathon these movies, I kind of realized it's not as bad as I remember, just especially in perspective of this franchise.
Yeah. It's got the gal who played Sue Snell in the TV remake of Carrie. It's got the guy from Once Upon a Time and iZombie in it. I actually didn't think this was bad at all. I know a lot of the complaints about this or about the girlfriend, who, yeah, she's a bit of a shrew. She's on this guy's ass. Though he's not that great himself, but...
No, he's kind of a dumbass.
She's on his ass, but in the book, one of the reasons why Stephen King did not write the original screenplay of Children of the Corn is he actually did. He got about 100 some odd pages into it, and he wrote a draft, and then they complained that the first 100 some odd pages was just this couple arguing, and they're like, nobody wants to see that. But that's what his short story was. This couple was like on the breaking point when they get to Gatlin. And so, yeah, I mean, you may not like it, but that is what Stephen King originally wrote. And I think it was cool to explore that rather than just remake what the other film did.
They threw in a lot of post-traumatic stress syndrome from being overseas and fighting in the war into this. But other than that, it follows the original, like, short story a lot better than the original movie did.
Yeah, he's a soldier. He makes some really bad, like, Macho Man decisions. Not Macho Man the wrestler, because we all know Macho Man the wrestler.
Macho Man the wrestler would easily take the Children of the Corn.
He'd kick their asses. Some Slim Jims.
Yeah, they'd snap right into it.
Yeah.
But yeah, it does have a few, once again, bad CGI points. There's a part where Isaac, the kid who plays Isaac in this, he's on a rooftop, he's got a knife, and it's the worst digital editing I've seen of a knife being thrown. It goes all the way across the town and hits this guy, and it just looks so bad.
For me, that stuff was pretty easy to forgive. I also like that they actually showed more little kids in this, because I feel like even though these are Children of the Corn movies and the kids sacrifice themselves at 18, there's almost always teenagers in these movies. Well, this movie had a lot of little kids in it.
Granted, I do kind of appreciate that, but at the same time, like, when they surround the car and you see these little kids standing next to about 4 big kids with axes, okay, they look intimidating. Got some teenagers there, they look like they play football or something. But then you got these little kids there, and they got their little spade shovels or whatever they're holding. It's like, oh.
I feel primarily that this movie isn't for everybody. I feel like this movie is for fans of Stephen King who were disappointed with the other movie because it really has nothing, and it has very little in common with the short story. This one follows it pretty closely, and it adds some things in there, but it doesn't really change much. Like, I like the end result of what happens to the couple. They do that exactly. And then also, this sets up for another film we're going to be talking about, the sequel to this movie. At the end of Children of the Corn, Malachi is sacrificed.
Yeah, that's why like when they made part 2, he was still in the movie, and like I said, they replaced him with some forget me person, which I hated. But in this one, it follows the short story. Malachi dies.
I said that, didn't
Yeah. Sorry. Reset it. I reset it. Can't be taken back.
So you feel like
I might even say it again.
Do you feel like the way you said it was better than the way I said it?
No. I feel like I.
Oh. Do you want to fight about it?
Nah. Guess about it. But yeah. So there you go. It's not perfect, but not horrible compared to what we recently watched.
And the acting I thought was pretty good in it, with a few exceptions. I thought it was pretty good.
There's a few good moments.
It has a cool, pretty chilling ending. The only thing that disappoints me is the girl who plays Ruth, Malachi's wife, at the end of the film. She's fantastic, and I'm sad we don't get to see her in the sequel.
And I feel like it follows that episode of South Park a little better, where all the kids start accusing their parents of molesting them, or they run the town for 2 days and they start making sacrifices. Kill the blue. Like
yeah, I liked it, because the Blue Man was part of the short story, which is where all that comes from. But yeah, the next was Revelation, right?
Well, let's just do the sequel to that one.
Okay, so going off of that one, the one that came, part of the other reason I decided to marathon these is because we had a new Children of the Corn movie this year, and surprising because we had so many Stephen King movies last year, and there's nothing this year except kind of a new Children of the Corn movie, which this one actually is a direct sequel to the reboot, which was closely based on the short story.
Which is funny because there was actually movies made in between the reboot and this one. Those ones don't acknowledge the reboot. This one does.
Yeah, it's on a whole separate path.
Like they split there.
Guys, I gotta tell you, it's actually a good movie.
Not bad.
It's a good movie. It's a psychological horror approach to the Children of the Corn franchise. Mm-hmm. It's really interesting.
We have a female. She grew up as a kid from Gatlin, but now she's trying to get all that away from her.
It's Ruth.
Yeah, she was
It's Malachi's wife.
Who he impregnated before he was sacrificed, because they changed the age from 19 to 18 or whatever, so he had to be killed at the end of the short story, but he already impregnated.
So in the Children of the Corn, in their cult, you are supposed to be sacrificed at a certain age, and the age changes, but at the end of the short story, they've just moved it to 18. So Malachi has to kill himself, and Ruth is like, no, why are we doing this? We need to just leave. And he says, no, these are our beliefs, and we have to follow through. And she has a premonition of just the whole cornfield going up in flames. Well, in part 2 goes right off of that one, and she actually does herself, lights the whole damn cornfield afire and kills everyone, or at least the ones that survive scatter into the wind, and she's near them. And she takes her kid and she goes and tries to start a better life. And she goes into a small town at the beginning of this movie with her son, who's now a teenager, and she's having some pretty intense PTSD, as you can imagine, any cult survivor, particularly one in a cult this violent.
She always, every town she goes to, she always says that she feels like somebody, but always somebody different is watching her, like one of the kids, perhaps. So I have to say, after 13 years of being on the road, she didn't get very far. She's still in little towns full of corn and good old Central America. It's like, maybe you should have gone somewhere tropical or something,
Well, what happens is everyone in town hates her because she flips out on people. She shouts at people. She sees things aren't there. She reacts violently. So they just think she's crazy, and they don't really care for out of towners.
They have one school. It's a Catholic school, and it's very snobby. They don't even want her kid in there.
So she gets a job at a mechanic's place, and then one by one, people in her life start turning up brutally murdered. And she sees a little girl running around in a yellow dress. And she has to wonder, is she A, going crazy and doing it herself? Or B, has this cult come to reclaim her son? Is she crazy, or is she rightfully paranoid?
Probably a little of both.
It's really interesting, and I think it's definitely worth checking it out. I'm also going to tell you guys that there's a stinger, and I have to say, in the stinger, you actually get to see... I said stinger. You would hear that.
Anyways.
Done? there's a stinger, and this is, I think, the best He Who Looks Behind the Rose has ever looked. He's like this creepy, like, cloud of smoke. Just really creepy. You need to check it out.
Yeah, it's a lot better than the earthworm that we got in the first two movies. So that's one thing I like. I like the original Children of the Corn. I just never liked the earthworm. Was not in the Stephen King short story.
But yeah, you get your children, you get your corn, you get a new take on the franchise, and you actually get a really decent psychological horror movie. So, and I also want to mention that this was made by John Gallagher, who did the Feast movies. So I think he's a great filmmaker, and his father, Clu Gallagher, who was in the Feast movies, is also in them. So that was really cool to see.
I like those movies. Yeah, the one thing I've learned as we marathon
OCD Horror, I did not say stinker. Stop siding with Danny. Oh my god, Ben!
You need to go back and rewatch this later. You said stinker.
I did not say stinker. I did not. Oh, I swear, doing these live streams is like just having multiple Dannys.
What's wrong with that?
Ugh.
In the bedroom, you wouldn't complain.
All of you are sleeping on the couch tonight.
But the one thing I've really learned through marathoning this is that I really, really can't take it seriously, especially after watching them so many in a row. Hearing He Who Walks Behind the Rose. Oh, I hate hearing that name over and over again.
It's like, it starts to become like Voldemort, like he who should not be named. Or like Joseph Hall said when he goes into the tunnels, he does kind of look like Bugs Bunny going to Albuquerque.
Yeah.
Oh, where's that back scratcher thingy? That's itchies. So, next was Revelation, right?
I thought it was Genesis. Oh, yeah, Revelation. And that sucks.
It's Revelation is bad. Bad. It's got shitty effects. It looks like a mid to late 90s movie, even though it was made in 2001. It's shit. This woman moves into an apartment complex. Her neighbors start dying. There's not a likable character in the whole movie. She goes into the apartment complex because it belonged to her grandmother who has passed away. And she's trying to find out what happened to her. And she starts seeing these two little kids everywhere. And then there's more and more children. And you find out that as the children kill people in the building, they're not really killing them so much as turning them into children again. And her grandmother was one of them. And her grandmother was originally from Gatlin.
And Gatlin was also more of like those revival church camps, and everybody except her grandma burned to death in that, which is like, I don't remember that happening in any other movies.
Was there a stinker at the end of Revelations?
No.
The whole movie was a stinker.
Yeah, the ending was a stinker. Once again, we have a kid, like in part 5, who is so utterly annoying. He actually looks like...
No, a stinker. I was kidding.
I know.
He said there was a good stinger, and I don't remember there was.
Revelations? I just remember it sucked. They play House of the Dead, and that is like the highlight of the whole film. Actually, there's a stripper character who I actually quite enjoyed. She had 2 scenes, and she was heavily naked in both of them. And they killed her in a bathtub.
Oh yeah, I did like that part. There is corn. The kids go to this woman in the bathtub. They put corn in it, and it gets all like turns
Viney?
into
like
tentacles. Like the husk turns into like tentacles and kills her.
Yeah.
It's so insane. You kind of need to see just that part at least.
Having such a wacky kill. Most of the kills in this were very boring. Like, I guess someone, like, an old lady gets hit by a train, but it's funny because I guess instead of being turned into instant paste, like how you would be, she gets bounced 20 feet away, and that's it. And every time they throw another person, like, off a building, but once they die, then, like, a kid comes out of the cornfield every time they kill someone, so...
It does have Michael Ironside in it, which this is so far beneath him.
It was.
He's not in it that much, though, and he certainly doesn't save this crap. As the movie is god freaking awful. Ben, I want to know if there was a stinger. What was it? Because I don't know if I saw it. Right. It's awful. It's so awful.
They're like, this guy has got like a meth house, but instead of meth, he's growing tomatoes and other vegetables, which I guess is somehow related to the Children of the Corn.
It's bad. Let's move on.
It has CGI corn, too. Like, they pop up CGI like.
The next one was a little surprising to me, because when I said about this trek to watch all the Children of the Corn movies, the one I think I heard about the most from people was that they're like, oh, well, wait till you get to Genesis. Genesis wasn't that bad.
I liked it. Though I have to say, it feels like it was forced into being a Children of the Corn movie.
Now, it feels like a spec script because it doesn't feel like it was a Children of the Corn movie at all, like Danny said. It kind of reminds me a little bit of the segment with the kid in the Twilight Zone movie. However, it was actually written to be a Children of the Corn movie. Dimension, once again, like what they did with Revelations, they were going to lose the rights to Children of the Corn. They had 2 weeks to write a script, and so they busted this puppy out. It's got the one guy who played Death in Charmed in it. He's fantastic. The plot is essentially there's a couple. The woman is pregnant. They break down on the road. It's hot. There's only one house for miles, and they convince that couple that lives there, this man and his Russian bride.
They live close. It's not in Gatlin, but it's not far from Gatlin, where Gatlin used to be. I mentioned that a little bit. That's about it. They go into this man's house because he lets them in, even though they're kind of dicks to him right off the bat. And his Russian bride's very pervy. Like, she wants out. She wants to get out of there right away and, like, take me with you kind of thing. I will do whatever. But they're just like, okay. They stay there because a tow truck or a delivery guy is going to help them in the morning, like, give them a ride to where they can get their car fixed. But they have to stay there overnight. He says, don't go anywhere. There's an outhouse outside, but only go straight to that. Don't go anywhere else. Of course,
like... They go out there. The gal goes out there to go to the bathroom. She hears something in the shed near the outhouse, and there's a child in there. And you find out that somebody, either the kid or the parent, or the father, has telekinetic abilities. They can move things with their mind. And there's some pretty great scenes. Like one scene where a cop shows up and he just gets thrown into the sky, and then you see the kid playing with the dolls and like the cop when he throws it up. So I thought that part was pretty funny. As OCD Horror mentioned, yeah, they used some stock footage from Bad Boys 2 for a car crash that seems very poorly cut together.
Oh, that was like the worst scene of this whole movie. It wasn't actually bad, but that's like towards the end. First half, I really liked it because it's like there's this kid locked in a shed, and everybody's like trying to like keep that a secret, and you're like, oh, but then kid, the dangerous reason why he's locked in there for a reason, or are these people crazy torturing a kid?
And they know that somebody is dangerous, somebody has this power, so you know why they're hiding in this house, why they're afraid to go out there, because they don't want to upset whoever has these powers and have that person go all Carrie on them. But it's almost in a way kind of more of a Carrie movie than a Children of the Corn movie.
That's why I didn't feel
like there's no corn in it, and there's one kid.
Like barely. They eat corn with the couple. That's and like there's a cornfield outside. There's a few kids at the very end of this movie, and this one did have a really good stinger because the doll, like this doll falls off a shelf and hits the ground, and you finally see that policeman hit the ground after he's been up in space like the whole movie.
So I will say it's not good for the franchise. It does not feel like a Children of the Corn film at all, but it's not a bad movie. It's fairly interesting. The ending shits the bed. I won't say it's a good movie either, but this franchise as a whole is not that great. It's a mudslide of shit, and this is the shit that kind of rises to the top a bit. So it's not the worst of the franchise.
Cream
it's far
of the
from
shit
it.
Corn crop.
Yeah, yeah, that's about sums it up.
So yeah, the first half is really good, and then the ending, like that whole car wreck thing. None of that made any sense at all. And
her reactions after it was what
that made
really
no sense either.
Me.
And then there's finally is some kids, and they all have moms, and apparently the main character who had a Russian bride has all these wives, but it's like, where were they throughout the night? Why is that just out of there nowhere? It has a shitty ending, but I don't know. 3/4 of this movie was really good. And that 1/4 is just horrible.
Had they spent more time on the script and maybe a little bit more budget,
and maybe not make it a Children of the Corn, just because it seemed like they did that to keep the rights. But if they would have just tried to make a fun movie and kept the whole Children of the Corn out of it, just a movie about a kid with powers.
Essentially, the kid has powers because he's possessed by he who walks behind the rose. But
that could have been anything.
It could have been anything, and it would have been better if it wasn't a Children of the Corn movie and a little more time had been put into it. They should have said, you know what, that's cool. Let's turn that into something else, and let's just make some different movie and turn that into a shitty Children of the Corn movie. I mean, it's basically Child of a Couple of Cops.
Yeah. That's the problem. When you rush something to keep the rights, it's never going to turn out good, because Hellraiser Revelations has showed us.
Yeah.
And pretty much anything else that tried that. So, yeah. But overall, it wouldn't have been like, oh,
Do you want to talk about some of the? Oh, we did finally see Coco.
yeah, we saw
Coco was really good.
Yeah, that won it on our Oscars.
I'm
for
sure
Best
you guys have
Animated.
all seen Coco, but Coco was really good. Got some non-horror things. Disaster Artist was amazing.
Even though I saw it this year, that's probably my favorite movie of last year, just in general.
Yeah, I loved the
it.
Disaster Artist. We won't go into the non-horror ones in detail, just tell you whether we liked them or not.
We saw Bright. I thought that was pretty good. It wasn't amazing, but I liked it.
I thought Bright had a really cool mythology to it. I don't know why it's getting so much hate from people, because I thought the world building in it was pretty cool.
It's kind of like Lord of the Rings, but modern times. Like,
Yeah,
just
I liked Bright.
Like if Lord of the Rings kept going to the thousands, this is what it'd be like.
We finally saw Dark Shadows. It was okay. I didn't like the werewolf bit at the end, but beyond that, it was okay.
This is the Johnny Depp 2000, which movie? Where did that
2012?
come out? 2012 Dark Shadows that I have tried to avoid because of how bad it kind of looked and how bad everyone said it was. So I didn't really want to like go see it.
And also, when you go to like the news dollar bins and stuff, or not the news ones, just the dollar bins
It's
in
like,
movies,
yeah,
there's always like
$5.
500 copies of Dark Shadows. So I thought this was gonna be like bottom of the barrel crap, and it's not. It's just regular crap.
Once again, though, it shits the ending. Like all the stuff that had nothing to do with the beginning or middle of the movie. Like all of a sudden, the girl from Kick-Ass is a werewolf, and that's how she covers it. She's like, "I'm a werewolf now. Deal with it." We're like,
Yeah, Chloe Grace.
why? I think it would have been better if it was like a Netflix original series that had about 6 episodes.
Yeah, that could be, or even a reboot of the series. They did a reboot of Dark Shadows. They did a new TV series in the '90s, and I actually
remember that
really
vaguely.
enjoyed that.
I didn't see it like in order, but I saw a couple episodes that I remember.
Yeah,
They were
as
pretty
a new series, or like this was before we had Netflix original series, but like a 12-episode Netflix original series, it could have been cool.
But like when Johnny Depp gets out of his coffin for the first time and he kills like the whole crew, that was actually pretty cool. There was some scenes in this movie that I actually liked, but it just seems so rushed. Everything was thrown together, so that's why I really didn't like it.
We saw When We First Met. Skip it.
It's got the what's his name from
Adam
Final
Devine.
Girls and Workaholics.
It's just what.
I am
I'm
looking
not.
forward
I
to
don't
his-
like romantic comedy movies. I think they're all the same. When people tell me that all horror movies are the same, I'm like, no, all romantic comedies are the same.
And it's very Hot Tub Time Machine / Groundhog's Day.
But
where
it's not funny.
He relives the same day over and over again, but it's also like big. He has to go and put quarters in a machine to make it happen.
Yeah, photo booth.
Photo booth.
It's got Alexander Daddario in it, and it's got the guy who played Fred in the live-action TV Scooby-Doo movies. It's got Adam Devine in it, and you'd think it'd be funny or at least decent with all those people in it who I actually enjoy as actors, but it's just not. It's just pretty boring.
That's its main problem. It's not horrible. It's just boring. That's a bigger sin sometimes.
One I was surprised by was Jumanji: Welcome to the Jungle.
I actually like that. Jack Black was hilarious.
I really enjoyed that. I
The
thought
Rock
that was fun.
funny.
We were kind of nervous about it because one of Lawless's favorite movies since he was just a tiny toddler was Jumanji. He's worn through 2 different DVDs of Jumanji already. We're on disc 3 now. He loves Jumanji. And so when he heard that there was going to be another Jumanji movie, he was pretty much like, no way am I going to go see it. And then I told him that it wasn't going to be a remake, that it's more of kind of a sequel. This one, it's a video game. The Jumanji has realized that kids don't play board games, so it's turned itself into a video game.
It evolved.
So it's strange because even though it's the 90s, it's like 96, it turns into like an Atari, and this movie's made by Sony. Why didn't it turn into a PlayStation game?
Well, yeah, because it's a cartridge, but it was going off of what the guy was. It watched a guy play in '96 play video games. However, then it got thrown again into a basement at a school, and now it's modern day, so they're playing a really retro game.
Yeah, but I even for the time that kid wasn't playing Atari.
Yeah, because he had a PlayStation 1.
And it's
showed him playing
made by
Twisted Metal.
Sony, who usually shoves product placement down your throat. So why not make him play a PlayStation?
Though it was like, and I don't know, it's weird. It's kind of like an Atari, but it has modern controllers, and there's 4 controller slots, even though there's 5 players in the game.
Anyway, we're nitpicking, but I thought the characters were really fun. It had some unexpected twists. The Rock, Dwayne Johnson was really funny in it. I like seeing his comedic side. Jack Black is playing a character who is actually a teenage girl he's the avatar for this teenage girl, and he was great. I wasn't sure how that was going to work, but he plays it straight, and that's what makes it funny.
I thought it was gonna be like a bad recall to the Hot Chick, where Rob Schneider is a girl playing Rob Schneider or whatever like that. But no, it was actually done well. Like, unlike that other movie.
It was actually really funny, and it has a lot of jokes about video games. Like, you know when you go to an NPC and they always say the same thing again? Like, what do you buy?
What do you say?
Yeah, it makes fun of that. It makes fun of just all the little, when you die and come back and stuff. So, yeah, guys, don't believe the hate. Jumanji is a really fun movie, especially if you have kids.
That's the reason why it's been in the theater so long. It's actually, I think, the 40th highest selling movie of all time. Doing really well.
Really good. I enjoyed it. I'll probably buy it. I liked it.
Yeah.
All right, and the last one we saw in the theaters was The Strangers Pray at Night.
Fucking loved it.
And yeah, if you saw our Let's See vlogs are a little bit different than our standard movie reviews. It's where Danny and I take you with us on date night, and we give you our thoughts.
Before and right after.
Yeah, right before and right after, and it's more vlog style. So if you want all our thoughts on that, we did do that for Pray at Night. But in a nutshell, we really loved it. It's right now on my Letterboxd ranking. If you follow me on Letterboxd, I'm under Gory V Movie. You can also find Danny on there under Danny Nightmare or Dan Nightmare. When is it, hun?
Danny Nightmare.
On Letterboxd.
Yeah.
But currently on my ranking, it's number 2. I really enjoyed it.
For me, it's number 3. I like Mom and Dad and the Ritual, but it's still really good.
We didn't talk about the Ritual. Did I not put that on here? Here it is.
There we go.
Did we talk about it last month?
No. I don't know if we talked about Val either. Or did we talk about the... I don't remember.
I don't remember. I know we talked about Midnight Man, so we must have talked about it.
I think.
We must have, because we did it the same day as President's Day.
Just to recap, we liked The Ritual.
Yeah, we really liked The Ritual. The Ritual is in my top 3 as well. So right now, my top 3 of 2018 will be Mom and Dad, The Ritual, and Strangers Pray at Night.
Yeah, those are top 3 at the
Our next date night movie will probably be A Quiet Place. That's been requested by a lot of people. If you guys have any requests for movies at the theater that you want us to do a Let's See vlog on, we'll definitely take that into account. We should try to. We don't get to go that often because
going on Good Friday.
We're parents and we're poor.
We're gonna be going on Good Friday.
Danny and I don't celebrate Valentine's Day because
not really. Acknowledge it a little
when we
bit.
first started dating, it was pretty close. We started dating on New Year's Eve, and that was a little close for a big romantic date anyway. And everybody goes out on Valentine's Day, so we decided that we just stay in and watch horror movies on Valentine's Day. But Good Friday, we do the hearts and flowers and all the romantical stuff, because that's when we try to be extra good, because it's Good Friday.
Valentine's Day, I mean, sometimes there's an exchange of chocolate or something, but we just, like you said, take it, relax. We don't go fight the crowds on our Good Friday.
Hey,
probably messed it.
Hey, the Bearded Slasher. Isabel, remind me what your challenge was. Gotta remind me. Hey, OCD Horror has the same top 3 as us, so we'll probably go see that next. I do want to see Unseen. I don't know if I'm going to see it at the theater, though. And I know The Endless supposedly just came out in VOD. I haven't looked for it yet, but I'm probably going to try and get that from Voodoo or something. Supposedly came out like a few days ago. Unsane came out at theaters, but The Endless, I believe, came out in VOD. And I know Ivan from the Movie Void saw it, so I'm going to have to look it up and see if it's on Voodoo or something like that, or Google Play.
Good Friday's coming up. We'll have something in it.
Yeah, well, we'll definitely... Quiet Place comes out in like a week and a half.
Same for Good Friday and then Quiet Place.
Yeah, maybe we'll go see Unsane. Unsane was all filmed on an iPhone, which could be really good or it could be really bad. The trailer looks really good.
Yeah, it doesn't look bad.
Could be very different or not. I did forget your challenge, Isabel. Oh, no, it's the same one. Yeah.
Freaky.
Isabel, remind me what the challenge was. I have a terrible memory. And, honey, shockwaves. I would love to. Actually, it wasn't that I forgot. I actually did write that down, but everything got delayed. We were already really delayed because we thought we were going to lose our house in February. And then in March, our car broke and our computer broke. So I couldn't edit videos, couldn't drive anywhere. Luckily, we're not going to lose our house. We found a way to make that work with our landlord. He's letting us buy it through a private contract, though it's not completely settled yet. I got the computer fixed, but yeah, we're really behind on videos.
Just got the computer working last night, and I just got the car working today. We've been...
That's why I've been drawing so many dongs. If you guys follow me on Twitter, GoryVMovie on Twitter, I drew like like 8 dongs because I had nothing to do. And then, wouldn't you know it, my dong pen, I used these like little fine point Sharpies to ink them in. My dong pen broke. I was like, really? Really, universe? You don't want me to do anything with my free time?
It's not the colored version, but show me your beetle dong real quick.
Beetle dong?
Yeah.
He's on my Instagram, but
yeah. You can see the finished version on Instagram, but here's the beetle dong
that I drew.
Black and white.
I want them to see my Chucky dong.
Show me your Chucky dong.
You're the one who made me get out my dongs.
About those dongs.
There's Tim Curry Pennywise. And there is Creature at the Black Leg Dong. And here is a Mudkip. And here's Chucky. And here is Skarsgård Pennywise. Pom-pom balls.
She's been busy.
I didn't have my computer. I do want to say Ready Player One.
Oh, yes.
We're definitely going to go see it, and we're going to take Lulz to it. I loved the book. I've read it a couple times, and I listened to the audiobook, which Will Wheaton reads, which is hilarious because,
it was like there's gonna be more horror icons in this than there even is in the book, just from what I've seen in the previews.
Yeah, because there's Freddy Krueger,
Chucky, I believe.
Chucky.
Yeah.
I know King Kong. I think Godzilla maybe too.
Mecha Godzilla's in the book, but yeah, some of these ones were.
There's a lot. I'm sure there's more that we're not even seeing in the trailer. Here's a question for you guys: are there enough horror icons in Ready Player One that you would accept a review on Horror Addicts?
Or at least a Let's Go See
like
vlog.
A Let's See vlog? Would you want a Let's See vlog of it? Because we're going to go do it as a family. The 3 of us. Would you want a review of it or not? Is it not horror enough for you? Let us know.
My dad even might go.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Good.
Pop up.
Yeah. Loves all that stuff. Not the horror so much, but the sci-fi of it all.
Also, a few people asked if they could buy my dongs, which I was like, kind of sounds like solicitation, but no, they just want to buy ones I drew.
Pornography.
So, I don't expect anybody to, but if you do want to, I have a store in V now where I will sell dongs.
If you're hard up for a hard-on, she's
Yes.
your woman.
You would like to adopt one of my dongs, you can do that. They want to see a Let's See vlog of Ready Player One.
Right.
It'd be our very first family one.
A
That's
little
cool.
more of a sci-fi, but it has horror elements to it. And I once reviewed it.
Well, and it's a dystopian sci-fi,
Exactly.
which is kind of...
That's horrifying enough as it is. You're living in a trailer park, but a trailer park where the trailers are stacked
And
on
they
each other.
always fall over, like in the book. It's pretty regular that it happens.
I haven't seen the movie yet, but if what happens to that trailer park happens in the book, it'd be pretty horrifying.
And you listened to the audiobook of that one too, didn't you, Ben?
Will Wheaton.
Yeah, he is so great. He also reads Ernest Cline's other book, Armada. I need to listen to that one because Will Wheaton's a great audiobook reader.
Isn't he like the vice president or the president?
Yeah, he's the vice president. That's so crazy. When he actually reads his name, I squeed so loud.
Because in Ready Player One...
Ready Player Dong, Ben!
In Ready Player One, Will Wheaton is vice president of the world, or America. But, so they got Will Wheaton to read the audiobooks. Good times.
Zachary Hates says we should check out The Night Watchman. He says it's a good raunchy comedy with vampires in it, like an office setting thing.
Our alley.
That sounds good. An office one I watched was Mayhem, which you can actually get on 4K. We just got it on 4K. It's on Shudder. That one was really good, and it's funny. So like,
Lynch directed that.
It's like a Belko experiment, but funny.
And it's got a few other things going on for it, but I like it. I really thought it was good. Joe Lynch did a good job. What's her name from The Babysitters in it? She does a great
Samara
job.
Weaving.
Samara. Yeah, I think she's actually onto something with it. Other than her Monster Trucks movie, which honestly I haven't seen that. It just looks so bad.
You're gonna be so embarrassed when you love it and it's your favorite movie of all
Well,
time.
I like her, so maybe I will. I mean, I'll just be like, oh, well, she was
From
in
what
The
I understand,
Babysitter,
she has
gets
a small part in it. The lady in it is what's her butt from the Evil Dead remake and Don't Breathe. But I like her a lot too.
Yeah, I like those.
Also, the main character, the guy from Wolves that you love so much.
Oh yeah, kid from Disney
I think
Channel.
it is.
I don't know. Blood-sucking.
Yeah,
Bastards
Bloodsucking
was good.
Bastards was good. We
like
had
that.
that one.
Early, but What We Do in the Shadows.
OCD
is
Horror.
good.
I was disappointed by Night Watchman. You two would probably like it. What's that supposed to mean? Wait, are there dogs in it?
Speaking of what's on Amazon Prime, Have you seen any trailers or even heard about it? Cobra Kai. They have. It's a TV show of modern time. They rebooted the Karate Kid.
Karate Kid?
Yeah, it's got Ralph Macchio in it playing Daniel-san, but he's older and he has to fight the Cobra Kai who are also older. Got the real Karate Kid according to Barney in it, the one that got my Funko of.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, he's the main bad guy, and it's a TV show. I haven't seen it yet though.
Isabel wants to know if we've seen Bad Taste. I have not seen it. Danny has.
It's in bad taste.
I want to watch it for our review one of these. Oh, I should do that. Ben says Monster Trucks was horrible.
Yeah, I watched it.
So, what do you guys want us to see in March? What do we got coming out? I say as I close my letterbox where all my information is.
Whoops.
Wop wop. He said it's on YouTube, not Amazon, is what Ben said.
Oh.
Kind of want to see Cock Blockers. I love John Cena so much.
What is it? The YouTube you have to pay?
YouTube Red? Yeah. Probably. I don't pay for YouTube.
I'll pay for Amazon.
I plan on watching Tragedy Girls soon. I meant to watch that last month. I really want to watch Butcher the Bakers. I know Winchester's coming out in Blu-ray and I didn't catch it at the theater. Probably see that soon. Probably watch Stillborn soon. I haven't seen the new Hellraiser. Is it any good, guys?
Probably not.
I want to see Dead Shack, which just came out in Shudder. Oh, I want to see Annihilation too.
Yeah, we really want to see that. We still haven't seen The Last Key. I'm not a big Insidious fan. I'm willing to give it a shot.
Yeah, well, I did just get us that one. Terrifier, I actually want to see. If you guys saw All Hallows Eve, the best part of that was the booking part with this creepy clown named Art. And now he's got his own full-length movie that comes out in a couple days. So I'm excited to see that.
I know a movie we watched recently that you didn't have on the list. House by the Lake.
I didn't watch that. You did.
Oh, you didn't watch that?
Really quick, in answer to what Zachary said, I haven't seen The Cured. I really want to, though. I heard it came out a little while ago. I can't find it anywhere. So if you know where I can rent it, that'd be great. I really want to see that. The one with Ellen Page in it. I think that sounds really cool. It's about people who were zombies that have been cured, but now they're kind of like discriminated against in society and everything falls apart. So
kind of like Breathers, though.
Yeah, it reminds me a lot of Breathers, but sounds a little more serious in tone. But go ahead and tell them about House by the Lake.
Okay, well, there's The Shape of Water, which just won an Oscar. And this movie came out before that, but it's almost the same type plot, a little different. Not a romantic love between a woman and the creature from the Black Lagoon, but between a little girl who just wants to go live with the fishmen in the lake. There's some red herring.
Love, or is he like a father figure?
I think it's more like a Peter Pan type thing. He's gonna just take her off to a better life because her parents are constantly arguing. They don't get along. They're only kind of staying together for her sake, and she's a little off. What does she have?
She has autism, doesn't she?
She has autism. She's a very angry little girl most of the time. Don't like being touched or even talked to.
Autism doesn't necessarily make you angry.
I know, but in this movie, she's particularly angry all the time. And her parents,
because her parents are complete, they're terrible.
They're douchey, and they're like always condescending to
her. They blame everything on the babysitter.
Yeah, they even hire a full-on nanny to basically raise her because that happens. The nanny knows what's going on. She's like, dude, you can't let this lady. You guys got to move. You can't live by the lake. But she's going to go into the water.
To her because she's jealous of her because it's like teenage girl.
I thought you didn't see this movie. You know about it just as much as I do.
Okay, I watched the second half of it.
Anyways,
sorry, go ahead.
The nanny is quite taking, so the mom is very angry and jealous that her husband's spending so much time with her.
Taking in Danny language means she's got boobs.
Nice booby. Though you don't see him, I don't think. There's also a red herring of a pervert that lives near on the lake who actually is a child molester, apparently, and the FBI go to find him, but they just find a bunch of blood. So there's not a lot. The only problem with this movie, I'd say, is not much happens. But yes, the fish man and the little girl just want to live happily under the water together, under the sea.
Under the sea.
Under the lake, where there's some fish that you can fry or bake.
All right, so I've got my calendar. I'm going to be writing down your requests. Let me know what your requests are. Cold Hell on Shudder. I have Shudder, so OCD says check out Cold Hell.
Yes, March is almost over. I think what she meant is that between like now and our April recap.
Till the end of April. We do have a couple live streams coming up. On next month on the 20th, I'm doing a Howling double feature for my buddy Queenie Todd's birthday. I haven't picked my movie yet, but we're gonna watch one werewolf movie here in Horror Addicts on the 20th at 6. And then at 9 p.m., we're going to move on over to her channel and watch another horror movie. So it's going to be like going to the Grindhouse or a drive-in theater. And then on the 28th, I've got the gals from the Good Morning Nancy coming onto my show for a Ghouls Night Out. And we're going to talk about She-Wolf of London and The Invisible Woman. And we're going to play some games and do Ghouls Night Out-y things. So it should be fun, guys.
Yeah.
Demon House. Oh, I do want to see Demon House. So Ben says Demon House.
Little heads up of what I got.
Jeff says The Lodgers. Actually, do have The Lodgers. I believe I just rented that one. I think I have it on our Voodoo. Yeah, Zachary the yeah, she's a werewitch. Queenie. And yeah, we'll see. We'll actually get to see her and vlog with her in May because she's local. She's in Seattle, about 3 hours away from us. So we'll see her at Crypticon. If any of you are going to be in the Seattle area, that is where Queenie lives. And I know Almost Sideways will be here. We'll be here. We're going to be hosting a Horror 2 workshop. If anyone wants to check that out, we'll be on a lot of panels. We're just going to be running around doing what we do. We love Crypticon. It's like our horror movie summer camp. We go every year. We've been going for 8 years.
Anything could happen. I might even get into a brawl with Mick Foley. Who knows?
Gonna meet Mick Foley. Felissa Rose will be there. We've met her before, but she's always a sweetheart. So yeah. Hi, Whack It.
We got the blue moon coming up at the end of this. Easter's coming up as well, so Passion of the Crust, perhaps.
Oh, the documentary about the Ghost Adventure guy. I know who you're talking about. I'll look it up. Hi, Whack It. I haven't heard of that. Don't watch Howling 7, please. Don't watch it. I believe I have. I've seen all the Howling movies, so I have seen. I don't know which one Howling 7 is.
Maybe there's a new one.
Is that the reboot?
Is there a brand new Howling 7?
I think the last one was the rebooty reboot. I've seen all the ones that are out. All right. Any more recommendations for this next month? Even if we don't get a chance to do a full review on it, you'll at least hear us talk about it on next month's wrap-up. We do one of these wrap-ups every month at the end of the month. It's always right after our Patreon movie night. So if you're a patron, watch a movie with us. The next month, I don't know, we might move it to Sunday because Mondays are kind of hard for a lot of people. So might do it early on Sunday.
Be more, maybe a night depending on where you watch it, but for us it'd be more.
Yeah. Why are we like the only one that's in the past? Everybody's ahead of us in the time zones.
As for the Howling franchise, I'd say it's a hair better than the Children of the Corn.
The Howling franchise is it's fun garbage, but yeah. Maybe how about Howling? Would you guys like to see Howling for our next ranking after Children of the Corn? Have we done any anthology films? I know we've talked about XX in a wrap up before. We've talked about them on wrap-ups, but I don't think we've actually reviewed an anthology on its own.
Galaxy.
Yeah, we've talked about a lot in wrap-ups. Yeah, Howling Reborn, that's what I was thinking. That's the last one I saw. Alright, anything else, Danny, that I'm forgetting?
Huh?
Oh, I also got Flay. I rented Flay recently, and The Housemaid. I rented a bunch of movies for us that are still on our watch or say. I don't know. I got both of them. I still haven't seen my friend down. Oh, I do have House of Demons.
For House at by the lake or whatever, I'd say they probably feel a little shallow about how their story won an Oscar, but it wasn't their story.
House of Demons. That's the one that's got I think Amber Benson. It's got some people who are in Buffy in it.
Cool.
I remember because that's why I rented that one.
Buffy.
So we'll have to check that one out. I think I have that one.
All right.
Howling for sure. All right. Well, Howling will be our next marathon. Thank you, Jeff. Jeff Floyd. So stay tuned. We're going to be having another Friday the 13th. It'll be Never Hike Alone with Canadian Jason. So if you have not caught up on the Canadian Jason storyline, we're 5 reviews in. He pops up in a lot of them, but they're all connected. So we have a playlist with the whole Canadian Jason saga.
Canadian Jason might not be in our first Friday the 13th film, but the guy who plays him is Zach. Yeah. He's still in it.
So you can check out those, get caught up before Friday the 13th. We're going to review Never Hike Alone. We will finally, I don't know if anyone wants to watch it at this point, post our best of 2017. We might do an impromptu stream. Well, we kind of already talked about what we're looking forward to after the whole year, but, you know, I don't know if we'll do a most anticipated. We were going to do a most anticipated, but probably not.
Celebrate Easter for my blue moon. There'll be Passion of the Crust.
Nice.
I gotta go.
Adam Green's in that.
I gotta go. Oh, sweet.
Oh, hey, Queenie785 just subscribed to Horror Addicts. Welcome.
Come in. Ira is there to greet you at the door.
Welcome to the horror family.
Yeah, speaking of that, I gotta go bake a Cookie Dan for tomorrow.
Cookie Dan's coming back. I love Cookie Dan. I love you more, but Cookie Dan's way up there.
He's kind of an actor.
Well, obviously I have it tight.
He's a bit half-baked. Alright.
Alright, so lots to look forward to. I hope we see you guys all again next month. But the next stream will be on April 20th.
Alright.
So hopefully I'll see you guys all for that. Oh, wait, you know what, guys? I'm going to get started on that Howling, is Howling 7, I kind of want to do marsupials, maybe. I'll watch one of the Howling movies for the Howling double feature with Queenie. I know she's got her movie picked out, but maybe I'll pick marsupials or one of the really bad Howling movies. Because commentaries are always fun with bad movies.
Oh, yeah.
Really quick, what is the Howling movie you'd like to see me watch for a movie night next month? I'm leaning towards marsupials, but you guys let me know what your choice is. And you got a question from Zachary.
Passion of the Crust, Ginger Dead Man 2 for Easter. Passion of the Crust.
It also has a lot of the cookie ones have two names, don't they? Like Part 3 Saturday Night Cleaver, and it's also something else.
Like Boogie. Something.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Part 3 marsupials. Yeah, that's what I was thinking too, Joseph. But yeah.
Full Moon in general. Full Moon has like 2 titles for every movie.
I know, right?
they like you sell movies to different countries one at a time. That's just how movies are made that way.
Mm-hmm.
So sometimes they give them different names for the national ones, I guess.
Yeah,
if you have
like
Full
what
Moon
happened
streaming,
with,
it's confusing.
Goobers.
Yeah, for Full Moon streaming, it's a little confusing because you'll find 2 versions, but they're the same movie. Okay.
All right, Part 3 and Part 2 are what I'm here. I'm probably gonna go marsupials just because I haven't seen that one in forever, and I remember that one was really funny. Anything else, my love?
No.
All right, guys. Until next time. Cut.
Cut.